Good evening, everyone. How are you? Happy eclipse week. I'm going to try to steer away from talking about too many of the transits because there's so many, and try to keep it just to the energetic so that it comes across, but just know it's based on the transits and the things that are happening. Hi, if you're just joining me, we're going to be talking about this total solar eclipse. I'll be pulling some cards. So the first thing to know is that it's in 19 degrees of Gemini. So knowing where your Gemini house, 19 degrees of Gemini, is in your birth chart, we all have it somewhere in a birth chart, is going to be helpful to know where you're being asked to set completely new intentions, to do the inner rewiring and shifting so that you can see things differently and see things in a new way so that you can interact with the world in a new way. This is really important because this is the biggest solar eclipse of 2021, and it has the opportunity to reset everything. If you are curious about the North Node in Gemini, I have a North Node in Gemini video on my IGTV and my YouTube that will go into the North Node transit in Gemini, which is an 18-month period that started in May of 2020. So with this North Node, it is our collective dharma. As a collective, where we're being invited to move into, and not everyone is gonna move into this energy, right? There's gonna be people who want to kind of just tune out, zone out, not do their inner work, and that's okay. But if you're wanting to do your inner work at this time, it's going to be magnified. So whatever healing, whatever integration, alchemy that you do within yourself for healing has the possibility to magnify out into the world and shift and changes that. Hi. Oh, let me know if anybody else is on here, if it's frozen. Jeremy, are you able to get on there or no?
Me?
Yeah, can you see if it's frozen? It might just be your internet connection. I don't know. No one else is saying anything. Hi. Okay, so I thought it froze for a second. It's working. Okay. Thank you. So this Gemini energy, let's talk about it. Wanting to know where 19 degrees of Gemini is in your chart to set these new intentions. Hi, Alistair. Hi, Brooke. And for this Mercury retrograde that's happening at the same time, Mercury is conjunct this new moon, meaning any of the things that we think are stalling us or holding us back are for a purpose. It's this reframe and this reworking that is really uncomfortable. Like, I keep getting texts, hi. I keep getting texts of what is this energy? It's very uncomfortable also because it was making an exact square to Neptune, and Neptune has eased off but definitely is still involved, and Neptune can make things really foggy. At its highest point, like, everything has like a shadow side or a lower side, and then the highest point of Neptune is spiritual connection. So the logistics aren't working as easily because spirituality, it's not logical, right? It's not the logical brain. It's like tapping into the deeper spiritual purpose. And at the lower side, because things aren't logical, that can make a lot of people want to go unconscious or start falling into ways to self-soothe that aren't maybe the healthiest. So addictions, that kind of thing. And we're seeing this a lot in our world in general with this larger, longer term Neptune transit in Pisces. So that's happening, making things a little bit foggy, making people a little bit uncomfortable, reminding us to tap back into our self-care, sleep, hydration, slowing things down, really being aware of where we're trying to press the fast forward button on our lives and try to just get through things. And a reminder that it's about the journey, that we're so magnified in right now to the details, which is very mercurial, very Gemini. And these details are important, and there's something about the way we're looking at the details. It's that whole quote, and someone just said this recently, when you shift the way you're looking at things, the things you're looking at changes. Yeah, so much. So that's all happening. A really great book that my sister recommended to me, and I feel like I've read it in the past, but this time reading it was like so familiar and so helpful, is The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it's actually on YouTube, so you can check it out. But it's been super helpful for these transits that we've been have been happening for the last little bit here. So, Mercury retrograde conjunct the solar eclipse. Really important to set intentions from a place of your higher self. So it's really important to get out of your own way here. And I've been hearing this time and time again with clients, friends, and just listening to people talk, is that we come from our limitations. We speak from our limitations. We speak from our beliefs. But our beliefs are just a creation of our mind, right? And this is the whole logistical versus spiritual side. Like when we can come at it from a higher perspective and start to shift the way we're talking and speaking and thinking about our beliefs and how things have to be, everything changes, right? So this is also the time to really look at your journey, how much of your past, and hopefully with this lunar eclipse, you left a lot of your past in the past, because this is the opportunity to bring in new fresh energy, to rebirth, reset the way that you're thinking, your neural pathways. This is a reset to your nervous system. And I was talking about different ways to assist with this nervous system reset. Anything having to do with your vagus nerve. So you can cover your ears and you can hum. You can do certain breath work. I also mentioned certain sexual acts actually reset the vagus nerve. So there's lots of things that you can do to reset that nervous system. The rewiring is super important, because no matter where we come from, no matter what walk of life we come from, we all have trauma that has impacted, and some of it is intergenerational trauma that has impacted our nervous system. And since Mercury rules our nervous system, this reset that's happening is really uncomfortable. And if we can remember that it's for the purpose of healing, it's for the purpose of shifting the ways that we've been doing things, we give ourselves more grace and more permission to maybe take a nap in the middle of the day, maybe go offline, doing the things that really help you to feel at ease and calm in a way so that this hyper action of our rewiring that's naturally happening has an opportunity to completely set in. Recently, I saw someone else post about, these energies are uncomfortable, like it's okay if you need to check out and watch Netflix. And I'm like, a little bit, but it's really important that we're fully integrating this. And the more that you're allowing yourself to go into the healing aspects of this, the more you're going to come out of this with. So, rewiring is something that naturally occurs in our brain. You can reach out to me through DM and I will send you some resources, but it's a natural occurring thing that happens in our brain. And meditation, healing work, all sorts of things can be really great for rewiring the brain and learning to speak from an empowered place versus our wounded place. Hello, Naomi. Hi, Adam. So this is all really important, and this is why so many people are being called to do healing work at this time. And with the healing work that we're doing, we just need to really check in and use discernment on what's actually moving us forward and what is just amplifying our past and our limitations and kind of making it bigger in our lives, because there is that quote unquote type of healing. And the type of healing that you really want to look into or move into is from the present and moving forward in a way that's expansive and bright and limitless. So that's really where we're at. We have Mars in the critical degree of Cancer. And this critical degree of Cancer at the solar eclipse really speaks to what we're about to move into with Cancer season. We're not there yet, but there is this element of moving into the self-nurturing, moving into maybe ways to protect your energetic field, really being aware of what's moving you forward and what's taking you back, because Cancer also has to do with nostalgia and family and core dynamics. And since Gemini also rules siblings and sibling communication, there is also that acknowledgement that we want to have healthy relationships with our people closest to us, and we don't want to come at them from our past selves, our wounded selves, or our codependent selves. So there's so much that is here in the chart. I want to make sure, I was like, certain things I want to make sure that I talk about. Okay, I think the main thing that I wanted to make sure I talked about was Neptune. And Pallas Athena is conjunct Neptune, which means that we're seeing things. Pallas Athena has to do with seeing the bigger picture, also patterns and cycles. And so Neptune is allowing us to see things in a higher perspective way. So taking that space and time that you need at this time, really looking at your nervous system and your rewiring. I don't know how I feel about that with Mars. I mean, I don't know. And it's really important to just, with the solar eclipse, to set intentions that feel very close to what you feel like you can embody at this time. Because if you're setting intentions that feel really distant from you, if you can't take actionable steps towards your intentions, if it's not believable to you, then there's no point in doing it. So setting new intentions in the house where 19 degrees of Gemini is for you is going to be really important, but you want to make sure those intentions feel believable to you and they feel like something that you can fully embody. So we had a big cleanse of energy with the lunar eclipse that we had 2 weeks ago, and now we're ushering in this birth of energy, this new energy. And there's all sorts of things happening with solar flares and the gamma light rays that are coming onto our planet. And every day, like, someone's having these new insights or new ways of seeing things. So just know that anything is possible. And when you stay in that higher belief for yourself and your healing and your journey, it makes it more likely that those things will actually happen, because like attracts like. And if you're not a match for what you want, if you're consistently telling yourself that you can't have what you want, or that you're not worthy of having what you want, then it's really hard for that thing to show up in your life, because you will repel it. You won't even be able to accept it into your life. So I talked about getting into the receptive mode and receiving the good things that are already trying to find their way to you. And so any adjustments that you need to do around learning how to receive at this time are also really important. Okay, I'm going to pull a few cards for this total solar eclipse, the biggest solar eclipse of 2021, and the energy that's coming in. Schizophrenia. Awesome. Well, that's being pulled in two directions, being pulled in your past or your future. So that makes sense. And we were talking about, the nervous system resetting, and that schizophrenia is like a very busy, overactive brain. Okay, I'm going to see what other energies are coming in. Possibilities. When you see the higher perspective, when you believe in possibilities, then, right, things can happen. And then the most effective energy to feel into at this time, or to be in alignment with, is source energy, being in touch with your own inner creator, your own ability to create in your world and be a creator. I will be doing a very special offering around the solstice time. I'm not going to announce that right now, but if you want to be in the know about that, make sure that you're on my mailing list. My mailing list is just, when you click the link in my profile at the top of the page, you can just add to my mailing list. And make sure that you're on there to see the summer solstice special that will be coming out, and other offerings and special things, sparkle and shiny things. Yes, we are so capable. And so it's leaning into that capability. Okay, so with this North Node in Gemini, we are wanting to lean into our discernment, our inner truth, knowing that multiple truths can be happening at the same time, right? That whole thing, when you change the way you're looking at something, the thing you're looking at changes. And that any kind of healing work that we're doing, any kind of discernment that we're doing for ourselves, is actually helping the collective consciousness to not only have that discernment, but also do the healing. So really thinking about this from a practical perspective, the more people who are doing their healing work, the more healed we'll see our planet, right? And the more change we can affect for each other and within our relationships, which Lastly, I'll just say our relationships are really highlighted at this time. Mercury retrograde in general. But when we have a solar eclipse in Gemini, Gemini has to do with the energies of people closest to us. I mentioned our siblings, but also close interactions, our neighbors, our close community, and it can also be our interpersonal relationships, our intimate relationships. So making sure that your communication is really clear and clean, really rereading messages before you send them. If something can wait, let it wait until Mercury goes direct. And with the solar eclipse, it's really important to be in alignment with your words. Whatever is coming out of your mouth, make sure that you run it through a couple filters and see if it really is true before you speak it, because our words are going to have an extra power this week, as I said. So making sure your words are in alignment with your beliefs. And that's pretty much it. I'm super excited about this eclipse. And if you have specific questions, you can message me, and also make sure that you're on my mailing list, like I said. And I am still doing eclipse readings. So if you want one of those, you can just DM me. Those are tarot readings, and they are $55, and I'll be doing them through the end of this week. So that's it, my friends. I will post this. So if you're just tuning on now, go back to my profile and you'll see this hopefully shortly. And yeah, so this is the time for fresh starts, new beginnings, new possibilities, trusting that your journey is important and the choices that you make on this journey are going to impact you for the next 18 years, right? Like these types of eclipses only happen every 18 years. So we want to make sure that we're in alignment with these energies and really asking for highest good to come through, and that we're in alignment with that. This is big expansion time. So if you want assistance with that, definitely reach out. And lastly, I just want to say about this solar eclipse is that when you make the space and time, there's also not a lot of fire in the sky right now. And that means that things can feel, even though there's this big flush of energy, without the fire, it feels sometimes like things are just like settling in like a mist because there's water and there's air, or a fog. So utilize the element of fire with this solar eclipse. Light candles, have a fire, like use the element of fire to get these energies alchemizing and moving, and purifying your space, purifying, maybe eating healthier these next few days, drinking extra water. You guys have got this. I'm so excited to see what comes to you all. And thank you for being here. If you're just tuning at the very end, go back and listen to the beginning. Have a beautiful solar eclipse. Mwah. Love you all. Bye.